Hello everyone and welcome to our new video where we are going to discuss our Teletek Cloud and more specifically the user rights and the ownership of the systems. Because we have a lot of questions about the cloud, I will need some help, so I have my colleague here, Marty, who is going to help me with today's video.
Yeah, hi everyone. Today I'm here because I also do have some questions about the cloud. As someone who's a bit less versed than you are.
Yeah, you're also new, yeah.
I'm a bit new in it, yeah. So the first question I really had in mind is when you have a system, who's really the owner of it?
Yeah, that's the logical first question. Who is the true owner of the system? That's a really important thing to clarify. Before we clarify that, we need to know how we are adding a system. So this is going to help us understand the ownership better. So you know that in order to add a system to the cloud, you need to have access to the panel itself, because every panel comes with a unique ID which can be found in the system settings. So basically the user is using this ID to add the system to the cloud. So there are two requirements. First, you need to have an account in our cloud application and also to have physical access to the panel. So basically the true owner is the first person who gets physical access to the panel. In the reality, in most cases, this is the installer of the system.
All right, that makes sense. So let's imagine for a second that I was an installer, or I am the owner of the system. What rights do I have? Can you explain it to me?
So you have full access to the system, of course. You can see the system status. You can have a remote access, so you can disable zones, devices, change system status. You can do maintenance and all the features that our cloud has. We have separate video for that, so everyone can see it. But also what you have more as owner is that you can grant access to other users, and not only grant, but you can also delete access. So if you want, you can share the system with others.
All right. And you said you can share it with others, but can you, again, if you're the owner, can you transfer your rights to someone else if something happens, or if you decide to leave the company or something?
So basically we have two options. The system owner can transfer the ownership to another person, or he can share the access with other users. The difference is that when you share the system, basically you decide that, okay, I want my system to be visible to other users as well, so they can observe, they can receive notification, and if they have rights, they can also manipulate the system.
Yeah.
Transferring is a bit different. Transferring means that you're transferring the ownership. So in reality, this is going to be, you're going to do that if you no longer want to have anything with that system. Basically, if you're the installer, you do the job, you don't have anything to do with that system, so you transfer the ownership to the other guy, and that's it. You're not going to be able to see that system anymore into your account, and he will take care of it from now on.
All right. So essentially sharing is if you're also keeping access to it, while transferring means that you lose access. In cases.
And also don't forget that if you share the system to someone, you can decide at some point that you will delete him, so he will not be able to see. So you have power over the other user,
right?
Let's say.
Right. What if someone isn't as considerate, let's say, and they just decide to leave a job, or they're the owner and then they just disappear one day without giving access to anyone else?
That happens in reality. So but this is of course worst case scenario. We have mechanism to change that, of course. So basically you can enter the panel settings. So again, the person who has access to the panel, he's the grandmaster, let's say. So you can enter the panel settings, and there is an option that is called unlink cloud users. Basically, by doing that, you are going to unlink everyone that is currently connected to the system. So if someone, the installer or the maintainer, disappears and you want to add the system as a fresh one to your account, you can unlink all the other users. However, in order to do that, you still need to have the access codes that the panel itself is using to grant permissions to the different users.
Okay, so the access codes are like the key to the castle, essentially. Without them,
that's very important to clarify. Yes, the cloud is providing remote access. It's sending notification, giving you a lot of information about the system. You can also manipulate the system and you can do a lot of things remotely. However, you still need to have the access codes that the panel itself is using. So if someone wants to harm you somehow, he cannot do that if he doesn't have these access codes, which is good.
Right. Yeah, and it's good to know that even the worst case scenario, there's still a backup plan to go back to.
Exactly.
Just one last question that got me thinking with this whole situation of someone abandoning their post, so to say, and having to delete all users. Does that mean that you also have to delete all of the information that's been stored on the memory, or do you get to keep?
Well, we need to remember that after all, the panel itself is keeping event log, so all the information will be there anyway.
Right. Yeah.
The information that you keep as a user in the cloud will be restarted. However, every important information related to the system status will be still in the panel memory, so you are not losing that.
Good to know. All right, well, thanks for answering my questions.
And thank you for joining me, because I needed help for doing that video.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, please let us know either down in the comments or send us an email, and we'll be glad to answer them as soon as possible.
Yeah, thanks for staying until the end, and also again thanks to Marty for joining me. See you next time, and watch all our other videos for a lot of information that you can receive from them.
All right.
Bye bye.